Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And today I'm going over my top 5 surf fishing baits. Bait options are really important out here. You don't want to be limited just to one option. And sometimes that's all you got, but I think it's really important you have multiple options, so let's jump into it. Alright, the first one's going to be a twofer. We're going to have fish gum and fish bite. They're just too valuable not to have when you're out here surf fishing. The main reason I like to use them is because you got your natural bait on, you might cast it out and you don't even realize that natural bait came flying off of there. This way, this stuff is going to stay on. It's got mesh inside. Fish bite and fish gum, they both have a mesh inside them, and it keeps it on your hook. That way, if your natural baits came off, you've still got them on there. And both of them come in strips like so. Obviously you're not going to use the entire strip. What I do, I actually cut them down into little bitty pieces like this, about the size of my thumbnail, and that's the size I like to use for most of my baits. Thumbnail size will catch just about anything you want out here. And something I'm asked about these synthetic baits all the time is, which one do I prefer? I really don't have a preference. I use them both up. You're gonna see me use more fish bites, and the only reason is I found a sale on fish bites, and I basically bought a year's supply of fish bites because the price was too good to pass up. But I use both because I'm not endorsed by either one, so I get the option of using both whenever I want. So basically what you need to do is try both, see which one works better for you, and go with that. Number 2 on the list is cut bait. You can use just about any kind of fish for cut bait. It really doesn't matter. Usually my go-tos are whiting and mullet, and I don't throw a whole lot of cut bait because when you throw cut bait, you really do limit the fish species that you can catch. You're not going to catch a pompano, you're not going to catch your whiting, and those are kind of the 2 main targets we go for out here in the surf. So realize if you are going to throw cut bait, you're looking more towards the reds, the sharks, the rays, bluefish. That's kind of the fish you're going to target using the cut bait. So it's just, you kind of got to pick your poison. But most of the time I'll use a 2 to 3 inch piece, and what I want to do, I want to get my hook through the skin, the scales, at least twice. So it'll keep it held on there a little better. That way the catfish and the little bait sealers won't sit there and peck it off quite as fast. Number 3 on the list is shrimp. I eat shrimp, you eat shrimp, the fish eat shrimp. Everything eats shrimp. It's probably the most readily available bait out here, so definitely one you want to have in your arsenal. And what I do with my shrimp, I actually salt it. Fresh dead shrimp is probably a little bit better than the salted shrimp, but this is just easier for me because I'm fishing out here probably five or so days a week, and going and buying new shrimp every couple days, I just don't want to do it. So I salt mine. It lasts forever. The salt preserves it, and the salt actually really toughens the shrimp up. You can throw it as hard as you want, it's not going to come flying off your hook. And again, the pieces I use are small, about thumbnail size piece of shrimp. You don't need to go any bigger than that for the fish we're targeting out here. To rig up my salted shrimp, start off with a piece of fish bite or fish gum. Fish bites on this one, and what I'll do, I'll just kind of run that hook and get into as much of that salted shrimp as I can, and it's good to go. Number 4 on the list, the sand flea / mole crab. It's one of those natural baits that's readily available right here at the beach. There's days when you can look right where the waves and the sand meet, and you can actually see the colonies of sand fleas, and that's actually really something I was wanting to find today so I can show you what that looks like, but unfortunately no colonies out today. What I'm having trouble finding the sand fleas, if I can't look down where the waves meet the sand, what I'll do, just inside the water there's this little lip right here. But what I'll do, I'll get on this little lip just inside the water, and you're going to get a lot of shells in your rake. I mean, that's part of it, but you can find sand fleas. right inside that little lip right there. And how I rig up my sand fleas is I'll start off again with a piece of fish bite or fish gum. We got fish gum on this one. And then I'm gonna come up through the belly of the sand flea again, and I'm gonna try to get my hook as dead centered in the bottom of that sand flea as I can get. And I'm gonna work that barb of the hook through it real slow, because you don't want to crack the shell. If you crack the shell, then that dude's gonna go flying off. But right there, just dead centered in that sand flea, and he's good to go. And number 5 on the list, you'll hear me say this all the time, it's the king of baits. I don't care if it's winter, spring, summer, fall, hands down, it's gonna outfish anything else, especially out here in the Alabama surf, and that is the ghost shrimp. I mean, it's hands down, it's the king of baits out here. Day in and day out, it just outperforms anything else you can get out here. If you're not catching fish on ghost shrimp, you're probably not going to catch fish that day. That's just the way it is. They're the best bait option out here, I think. How I put on my ghost shrimp is I'll always start off with a piece of fish bite or fish gum, using fish bite on this one. And then what I do, I go from the bottom side and I come to the back, come to the very back of this ghost shrimp. And I go in from the bottom, and then I run that hook inside up along the back of the ghost shrimp to thread it on there as good as I can. And then I break out the magic thread. It's an elastic thread that's got a lot of stretch to it, and I'll pinch it up here towards the top of the hook, and then I go crazy, guys. Just don't be afraid of putting too much magic thread on here. You're not gonna put too much on. Just go wild, wrap it bare minimum of 10 times. I usually probably go about 20, and then my ghost shrimp's on there and it's ready to cast out. If I had to pick just one bait to use and I wasn't able to use anything else, just absolutely hands down, it's gonna be ghost shrimp. Just personally, I think it is the absolute best bait you can use in the surf along the Gulf Coast, and that's including Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. I mean, I've talked to some guys over there in the Florida Panhandle, and they absolutely agree that ghost shrimp are the king of baits in this area. And since I think that ghost shrimp are the king of baits, I want to share with you how I go about finding them. And the first thing you got to have is a ghost shrimp pump. It's basically a plunger. You're sucking those ghost shrimp up out of their mouths, and ghost shrimp aren't something you're going to be able to go out and just scoop up with your bare hands. You can do that with sand fleas, but it's not going to work with ghost shrimp because they burrow down too far. So the first thing you got to do is go out and buy you a pump, or you can make one. I was lazy and I bought one. Saved me time that way. But let's go ahead and get out to the water and find out how to catch them. All right, when I'm trying to key in on an area to find ghost shrimp, what I want to look for is what's right here in front of me. It's super shallow. We're out here at low tide. The water's pretty clear. The water's calm. Those are all things that are going to help you find these ghost shrimp. If it's rough and dirty and deep, it's extremely hard to find ghost shrimp. So all I do, I just walk out here and I start looking for these mounds. I'm going to put my pump right next to this one. You'll look down and you'll see that mound. There may not be anything in that mound. That mound's a little closed up. But I'm going to put my ghost shrimp pump over that mound, and when I pull on the plunger, I'm going to rip it up like I'm starting a lawnmower, because you want to create a lot of suction. And I'll give each mound 3 pumps if I'm not getting anything out of there. After the 3rd pump, I got one up out of there. I just destroyed it. He got tore up. We'll leave him there, and we'll move on to the next mound, because there are several out here. Again, right here, I'll put my pump next to it so you can see that. Yeah, we'll wait for that wave to clear out. Right there, you can see that hole right next to my pump. That's where the ghost shrimp are burrowed into. And again, pull it like you're starting a lawnmower up. You want to get that, excuse me, you want to get that suction. And right there, there's the ghost shrimp. I just throw them in my pocket. Not everybody wants to put them in their pocket, but I'm gross. Putting them in my pocket doesn't bother me. Give this mound a couple pumps real quick. Just see if we can get another one up real quick for you. There he is. Let that kind of settle. And right there, there's you another ghost shrimp. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. Like I said, have multiple bait options out there. Bare minimum, have at least 2, whether that's just shrimp, fish gum, fish bites, or if you're digging up sand fleas, at least have a backup option, because you just never know what's going to work from day to day. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, so until next time, I'll see you later.